It was Claudia and now it's Bram. Storm after storm hitting Wales this autumn. And this is what Bram has brought with it. Livelihoods and the water. The landlord of the Crisalli Arms in Carmarthenshire says it could be the end of his business, washed out by yet another storm.
Here we are now. So yeah, 3 weeks ago we were in a similar situation. And it looks as though it's going the same way again. So yeah, from a business point of view, this is potentially game over. Last time it flooded, we had to spend 1,100 quid on sanitising the cellar before the brewery would change the coolers. As you can imagine, having stocked up for my first week, I've got 1,100 quid to do it all again.
And here in Pontypridd, Josh is one of a few surviving businesses from Storm Bram back in 2024. He rebuilt piece by piece. Having washed away that nightmare, he now faces the déjà vu of yet another storm and what could come next.
I think it's, even still today, we're still suffering with the financial loss. I think the place I'm in personally is after that loss, I haven't really been able to reinvest back into my business because, I'm obviously worried that this is going to flood again. And over the last, like I said, month or so, with the 3 warnings in place, I think it was a wise decision not to put any of my own personal money back into the shop, just to worry about losing it again. So I think never really got over it. We're still sort of dealing with it today. It's just sort of trying to crack on and not, let it take over your life.
Leslie is watching the river very closely. She's seen it rise before, suddenly and dangerously. She knows how quickly things here can turn messy. And tonight, she's worried.
Because you don't sleep the same. I know it's only water, and yes, water dries out, I know. But it's the hassle of everything. And hopefully this will go down. So I'm hoping it won't go any worse, because obviously we don't want to get flooded, because we've got Christmas tree up, we've got 2 of them, and the presents, and you're thinking, okay, we can take stuff up, but how much can you take up?
Heavy rain and strong winds are covering much of Wales too. Here in Porthcawl, people keeping well away from the sea. Waves crashing over the front, the wind pushing higher and higher. Authorities say the message is simple. Be ready, stay updated, and don't take risks. Wales is watching the skies again, hoping Bram causes less damage than the storms we've already endured. So, John, still ongoing impact of this storm tonight, especially for drivers. The winds have affected lighting columns on the Prince of Wales bridge. So that part of M4 has been down to 1 lane only on both directions. We are also hearing that up to 2,000 properties have been without power across the country. While the rain is easing, the concern about flooding does not ease. Natural Resources Wales still has flood warnings in force across mostly South and West Wales, along with flood alerts. So the message tonight, John, is that people stay vigilant and be prepared.
OK, Isa in Pontypridd, thank you very much indeed. And now the picture in North Wales, where strong winds are still a concern. Carol, what's the latest you have?
Well, they are definitely a concern, John. You can probably see and no doubt hear how strong the wind is still blowing here in the Vale of Clwyd. That yellow wind warning will be in place across the region until 7 o'clock for another hour, until midnight in the far northeast of Wales. There's a flood warning down this valley, the Vale of Clwyd, and across much of the region. And further west in the Cornwall Valley, the main route, the A470, is closed at the moment at Mainen due to a fallen tree. And in Holyhead, the roof of a sports centre has been blown off in the gusts. Also, the ferries have been cancelled, and Coleg Menai has closed 3 of its sites today to keep learners and staff safe. But of course, this time of year is really key for businesses. They want to get ahead for Christmas, but this weather can certainly keep people at home, even though for now we have escaped the worst, at least here in North East Wales.
It's getting worse, I think, isn't it? Not better. Don't like the wind, don't like the rain, but we try and carry on, but keep everybody safe.
I don't think we've had it quite as bad up in North Wales as they've had it elsewhere. So, no change for me at the moment.
This morning I was in the house, and then this afternoon I've taken my sister to hospital because she's got a broken wrist. That was a bit difficult because it was a bit windy with the doors and that, but other than that.
The police are urging motorists to take extra care and to drive to the conditions. But with these named storms coming through thick and fast, it's further evidence that climate change is here and it's now.
A distinctly unfestive scene greeted the owners of Cornwall's winter wonderland today after Storm Bram blew through, leaving the site strewn with broken signs and damaged food outlets.
Absolutely heart-wrenching to come out in the darkness at 4 o'clock this morning to find the damage that Storm Bram has done. Myself and my wonderful team, along with my eldest son, tried to prevent most of the damage that we could, but unfortunately it has caused us thousands and thousands of pounds worth of damage that hopefully is repairable.
Efforts are now on to get it up and running again. In Porthleven, the sheer force of the storm sent waves crashing over the harbour and swirling sea foam resembled snow. The town's park was completely waterlogged, and thousands of homes across the region were left without power, including hundreds around Redruth. In Lostwithiel, it was hard to tell river from road, with cars caught out by floodwaters.
We get a good storm, we get high tides, and this is what happens.
It's just carried on coming in because high tide was at 8:30 and then it rained, and of course then it just got worse. But it does cause hassle, but it's nature, isn't it?
It is. It's the worst we've seen it for a few years, but it does this every year.
Cornwall Fire and Rescue Service said it was inundated with calls and tended to around 15 weather-related incidents.
Right across the county there was many properties in the Kellybray, Callington area. Down on the Lizard Peninsula there was cars stuck in water there as well. And being in the middle of the night, it's quite dark, a lot of hazards, and it's just making sure we can get safely to those people in the cars, make sure they're okay, and get them straight to safety.
As the storm now thankfully subsides, for some the clear-up continues.
Kathy, it looks like there's electricity there, but are there some homes still without power tonight?
Well, yes, the latest figures we have is that there are 216 homes in Cornwall remain without electricity this evening. The figure is 485 for Devon and 43 in Somerset. And we've been told that engineers are working hard to get them back on their electricity supply as soon as possible this evening. Here at Cornwall's Winter Wonderland, repairs are ongoing as well this evening. They are hoping they may be able to reopen tomorrow. They are planning to put an update about that on their own Facebook page later this evening. We've also been told that anyone that did book the ice skating here this evening can go online and rebook their session.
Well, now Northern Ireland is being battered by Storm Bram. An amber weather warning is in place with winds of up to 80 miles an hour affecting counties Antrim, Fermanagh, Londonderry and Tyrone.
That weather warning will run until 8 o'clock tonight. Well, Paul Riley has been braving the stormy conditions, and we can join him now live in Carrickfergus. Paul.
Thanks, Rose. Yes, all parts of Northern Ireland have been under a yellow weather warning since 9 a.m. this morning, and that's set to last until 10 o'clock tonight. But at 2 o'clock this afternoon, as you say, that amber weather warning came into place. It's been extended until 8 p.m. tonight, and it's affecting mostly northern and western counties of Northern Ireland. Well, as for where I'm standing here in Carrickfergus, this main road into Belfast was closed for a time today because of a tidal surge. Those tides, those waves coming over the wall here, and meaning the road had to be closed. Further up the coast in Whitehead, we've also seen reports of tidal surges, and parts of County Down, well, they're not immune. We've seen flooding in parts of the Ards Peninsula and parts of Newcastle as well. Well, as for travel, well, people are being advised to check with their airline or their ferry company before they travel. We believe most of the ferries have been cancelled for tonight, and we've been speaking to NIE. In the last hour, they've told us, although there's low-level damage, there are a few 2,000 homes without power. There's still another hour of this amber warning to go, so it's still early days. We could see further disruption into tonight.
Flights and trains have been cancelled and hundreds of properties left without power due to Storm Bram. The Met Office has issued amber and yellow weather warnings for rain and wind from northern Scotland down to Cornwall. Ben Chapman is in Merthyr Tydfil this lunchtime. Ben, how is it where you are?
Well, I want to show you the dramatic effect that all the rain that fell on South Wales overnight, brought by Storm Bram, has had here on the River Taff. Now, this is normally a pretty peaceful, pretty little weir, but as you can see, all of that water which has been flowing down off the hills into the valleys here in South Wales and into this river has turned this into a raging torrent, and you don't need to imagine the kind of impact that that can have on some riverside properties. We've got some pictures to show you of the Cresselly Arms, a pub just a bit west of here near Carmarthen, which has flooded for the second time in 3 weeks. Now, so far, we haven't seen the kind of severe, widespread flooding that we had a couple of weeks ago in Monmouth, for example, but the flooding has been causing disruption to train services in Wales. Several lines closed, although they are starting to slowly reopen. And the wind has been having an impact as well. Most of the 39 flood warnings in place in England this lunchtime are for coastal flooding in the southwest. Around 4,000 homes at some point or another have been without power. And as this storm moves northwards, it is Scotland and Northern Ireland that is going to feel the impact of those winds later today.
Time for the weather now. Alex is here. Alex, how long is the stormy weather expected to last?
Well, certainly over the next 12 hours or so. Still some testing conditions out there with our second named storm of the storm season. So Storm Bram was named yesterday, and it has packed a bit of a punch actually through the course of today. But it looks as though, well, so far it has been a slow start to the storm season, and probably unlikely that we'll get all the way to W to Wobbo or Wobbo. I'm not entirely sure how you pronounce that, to be honest with you. Let's take a look at the current storm that we have. So Storm Bram, that's been packing a punch through today. Strongest gust of wind so far has been up to 84 miles per hour, and you can see many areas gusting in excess of 70 miles per hour. So likely we could see more disruption, and we could even see some stronger gusts as we head through the next few hours. Rainfall wise, it has been a pretty dismal day out there, particularly out towards many western, northwestern parts of the UK and also the southwest, but we've seen 106 millimetres of rain across parts of White Barrow. Let's take a look at the pressure pattern setup and see exactly where Bram is at the moment. It's up towards the north. As you can see, isobar still very tightly packed together. The wind's still a feature as we head through the next few hours, and that's why there are Met Office warnings still very much in place, amber warnings in fact. Let's take a look at those right now and see how that's all going to pan out as we head through the next couple of days or so. So this is the current situation. Amber, rain, wind warnings in place, as you can see at the moment. Fast forward to tomorrow, and they still will be in place, particularly up towards the northwest. So as I say, more disruption is likely. Let's take a look at the forecast. Well, as we head through the next few days, well, actually towards the weekend, it stays thoroughly unsettled with low pressure never too far away. Next system to watch out for probably is on Saturday, although I don't think it will be as intense, but it still will be quite wet and windy. Let's take a look at this evening then, and you can see as you come further south, it is a largely dry evening out there at the moment. However, it is quite breezy, and we will see more showers developing as we head through the small hours of Wednesday. You can see temperatures in these kinds of conditions, so the wind really helps to keep the temperatures up. So no frosty conditions overnight tonight, but as we head into tomorrow, it will be a bright start for many. But just notice the rash of showers that do stretch up towards Scotland. They're going to be quite frequent and heavy initially. You can see they stay quite heavy into the afternoon. Elsewhere, they kind of die out, so it's going to be a bright but breezy afternoon for much of England, Northern Ireland and all of Wales. Temperatures won't be as mild as what they were today, so in Cumbria, we actually got to a high of 17 degrees Celsius, way above average for the time of year. That kind of paints a picture of how mild this system has been that's come in through the last few hours or so. But you can see tomorrow a bit fresher, but these temperatures are still above average for the time of year. Let's take a quick look at Thursday. You can see dry start, but this system will be waiting in the wings through Thursday, so more outbreaks of rain coming through. And as I say, through Friday into the weekend, there won't be a great deal of change, so it is brollies at the ready.